ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
And record.
This meeting is being recorded.
Got it.
I'm gonna have to edit that.
No, don't edit it. Just leave it in there. Everybody
Yeah.
knows. This meeting is being recorded. That's your new intro. This meeting is being recorded.
That is so funny. That's the first time I've heard that. Welcome, Angry Favorite. Today we're with the all veterans skydiving team. I met these guys at Vet Fest DFW. They jumped in, and I was curious how y'all guys were gonna do it, because I was like, oh, they're gonna do either some regular magic or some redneck magic. That's all I gotta say, because those power lines are right there. I was like, okay, they have to come through there. I was like judging it, but I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. But,
well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. On that day, the first thing you hear in my video after my parachute opens up is, man, I wish I would have had this clip ready for it, because I would have shown you. Literally, I have no idea where I am, but I got a big mic, so I'm gonna be okay. That's the team president, Big Mike. I was calling him. And what I did was I flew over his parachute and literally followed him in on top of his parachute, probably about 20 feet above him. Maybe a little bigger than that, but followed him in, and I knew I'd be fine. And probably about 1,500 feet, I realized, okay, this is where I am. I'm gonna be okay.
and the other thing that I was worrying about when you're jumping, I just don't know about jumping in a big city. I'm usually out in the field. So I was like, what are those little things? Did they drop something? It was those little flags. And I guess you were judging for wind.
Yeah, so what happens is when we are rolling up to a show site, one of the things that we do to prepare for the best possible opening for the parachuters is we need to determine what the winds are. We can look at our apps all day long. We use Winds Aloft, we use all kinds of different apps, Spot Assist, ATAC, all kinds of stuff, but nothing beats having that direct information right there at altitude. So these wind streamers are probably about, I don't know what, 20 feet long of really crepe paper. And we drop them at about 2,000 feet. And what that does is that lets us know right about the right altitude where a parachute would be open. That's going to tell us what the winds are doing. So if, long story short, if we're jumping here and the wind drift indicators fall over here, I know that I need to be over here to land correctly.
Oh, okay. So you don't pull
on this side. This side, yeah.
as long as you don't pull that one part in Deadpool 2. Not to mention that I'm sorry.
Like
that was hilarious. But
man.
how many jump? Because y'all ended up doing like a jump that day. Y'all are packing it up really fast and going to another jump, weren't you?
And so we traveled the country. The team was established in about 2011. And long story short, we travel the country. Our message is a message of hope for the country. We do a lot of PTSD awareness type events. We do a lot of fundraising. Last year, I think we raised over $7 million for veterans events. But on that particular day, we had 2 events to go to. One was there in DFW, and the other one was way down in Kima. So we literally landed, packed our parachutes, jumped in a plane, raced down to Kima, Texas, jumped in, and that Kima, Texas jump. Let me tell you, there was both jumps that day were fun jumps, meaning we were like pucker factor of about 127.
Okay.
Didn't have time to do much of a run in. We didn't. Thank goodness the winds were almost nothing down in Kima, but didn't even have time to throw streamers down in Kima. We just got there, had enough time to get and get out.
I was one of those ones. She was like, "Yeah, it's good enough. Let's go." I've
Well,
I've been in
somebody asked
situations
me-
like that.
well, that's where thousands and thousands and thousands of training jumps come into play.
Yeah, and you guys are master jumpers, right?
A lot of us are, right? The team president, Mike Elliott, he's got what, over 17,000 jumps. He's a master parachutist. We have Mario Mijo Rivera. He is another master parachutist. Mark Jones, world renowned, famous. They're all Golden Knights, and just the skill set that I get to be around and learn from is absolutely phenomenal.
That's awesome. See, the last jump I did, I ended up finding a gopher hole. So that was pretty much my time with it was my 5th jump. I was about to do my 6th to pop my cherry, and I found a gopher hole.
That'll leave a mark. It's okay. Drink water. It'll buff out.
No, it won't. I had to have to replace my damn knee.
Oh my word! Good grief.
Yeah.
The story I've got on that one is I used to do a lot of jumps. I used to be an OC, an observer controller. Used to teach people how to go to war down at Fort Polk, Louisiana. And I used to love doing my static line jumps down there. I would have my cell phone in my left shoulder, right? It was old BDUs. Had my cell phone on my left shoulder, and I'd have my then wife on the phone, and I would be talking to her literally on the jump on my way down, and usually be pretty good. But this one time, out at Fort Polk, you have this really spotty cell phone signals. So you go in and out of cell phone signal. Well, this one time it was a pretty rough day. It was a rough jump. Winds were probably a little bit higher than what they should have been for a jump that day, but send it, right? So we're out, and all that she can hear is me saying, "Oh my God, there are trees, there are trees, there are." Click. I barely missed the trees. My canopy landed right next to the tree. Part of it was on the tree. I missed the trees. I was perfectly fine, but that poor lady she was a little bit concerned.
I bet she had like a mild heart attack. Now, it's funny though, is because what was your MOS when you're in the military?
So, great question. I was actually a linguist. I learned the language of the Iranians, Persian, Farsi. I'm not as well kept with it as what I used to be, but I still speak it sometimes. Every now and then I'll go down to a local restaurant and just find somebody who speaks Persian at the Persian restaurant and speak a little bit of it, just to get those old time feels back.
I was
linguist.
I was in the Air Force, and Air Force. Okay, it's when other branches tell me that it was like, I was a cook. I was like, oh, okay, what else did you do? They're like, are you saying something bad? I was like, no, my job was morale.
Exactly.
That was technically my. Air Force is totally different because they just jumped. I was like rec. I was doing rec. I ended up doing the USO show for Bahrain. I ended up like
Bahrain.
I was like I met Drew Carey, Dwight Yoakle, Cedric the Entertainer, Jay Leno. Who else was it? Chris Isaac. And I think that's about it. There's this one comic. I'm pissed at myself that I couldn't remember his name because he was the funniest one of all.
My team of Skydives.
It was yeah, but it was, and I do lodging. I did all kinds of stuff, and I had fun with it. And I had a lot of people was like, "Wow, I was this and this." I was like, "Dude, I thought it was horrible. I got shot at when I was picking up donuts."
I'm just trying to flip an omelet, please. Would you stop?
Yeah. Just give me my moment. I chose this field.
We had one of our cooks, one of the most badass people I've ever met was one of our cooks. We called him Z. Back when I was with 3rd Special Forces Group, this was on my very last tour. The only time I really took enough bullets close by me to be concerned about hitting my ankles and my legs. But we had one particular mission where Z and I were on the same team, and we went up to do a special little hilltop mission, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine, no issues. Came down the side of the mountain, and sure enough, man, as we came down the side of the mountain, we just got lit up.
Really?
And we had bullets landing all over the place next to us. So we're running, I'm up, they see me, I'm down, right? I'm running from one corner to the next corner as fast as I possibly can. One of our antennas actually got broken on this run because we're just hellfire and brimstone was coming our way. Z, our chef, I turn around, Z is gone. There's no Z anywhere. And we called, we think we lost Z. Z is down. Where anybody have eyes on Z? Nobody could find Z anywhere. Z is over on the other side of the blasted building with his little bitty tiny M4, just laying down all kinds of return fire. Nobody could see where it was, but he was holding his own, man. And he wound up racing back over to us, finished up the mission, got a couple of good hits on that one, and had a great day.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because it was like the only cool story I have as a well, it was two stories, but the other one it was ridiculous. But I literally got shot at picking up donuts at Kuwait, and this is before 9/11.
That is awesome.
It's so sad because at this time frame, well, Egypt already hates us. They've always hated us for a long time because we support Israel. Well, their plane broke down. They did like they were doing riots down in Kuwait City at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily the week beforehand they erected these cinder block things so you can move your vehicle in, because I had to go off base. I had to move my vehicle in, call the MPs, have the dog go over the whole vehicle, make sure there's no bomb. I was sitting there waiting with the TCNs to get the whole van like sniffed out. I was like, dude, hey, why did that car like just turn off its lights? If I was in the ghetto, I was thinking we're getting a drive-by. Sure the fuck enough. First drive-by ever. And I've lived in the ghetto and I've been in horrible neighborhoods.
Oh man, see, what I love about what we do is we get to travel the country. I mean, we sometimes we travel the world, and we get to link up with all of these people who have all these amazing stories, and it's about the brotherhood.
Yeah,
about that family that we all have everywhere we go. And this is something that I think a lot of people on the civilian side they either don't get or they don't have. So even your worst enemy in the military is still one of your best friends.
Yeah,
on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's that blood. It's that heartbeat.
Yeah, we know you. It's basically the whole thing of we know we got fucked a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you held each other's hand and you were hating each other for it, but and that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like I met a guy just last Friday. I did the whole tour of free food because I won't turn down a free meal.
There's wisdom.
Yeah, I know. And I was talking to this guy, and I was like, he was telling me about Ali Salim. I was like, yeah, I was at that base too. What time frame were you at? I was like, this time frame. He was Army, so it didn't click. But he had his job was to take X-rays of I think the wing or something to do with the airplane. He had to take X-rays to make sure there's no cracks in it, which I understand because right now I work as in Howmet Aerospace, and we take pictures of the jet engine blades to make sure there's no cracks or faults and everything. We were at the same base, the same time frame. We didn't even know it.
Isn't that fantastic?
It's so small, so weird how small the world is. Now, on your jumps, have you ever done the D-Day jump yet?
So I personally have not. The team has. I know Big Mike Elliott, he went out there, Mario Rivera, they did that D-Day jump. In fact, They jumped with one of the general's granddaughters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so just amazing connection from old school to new school today. That's something that's still on my bucket list.
Dude, a lot of people that do jumps. That's one jump they want to do, especially if they're prior service or they have family members that were in the service. And I'll tell you right now, from getting like personal experience from other people, they said it's so surreal because once you land, you don't have to worry about your parachute. They take everything, they make sure everything's compacted, everything's good for you. They hand it back to you, and they're off. And it looks like an American city because everybody's wearing like USA, American flag, everything, because that's how much of it they appreciate everybody in that town.
See, I wish people today understood that concept.
But especially in the United States, where it's just because I went to Paris and it was treated like a piece of shit. But I go to like Normandy and you're like God amongst men there. I was like, once you, especially me, because if the alcohol hits just right, I have a really thick accent. It is
Let me bring out my southern drawl now.
Oh, dude, it's draw. And every once, but when I talk like regular, lots of people think it's like, oh, you're from Pittsburgh. No, I'm from Texas.
Well, I'm from Texas.
Then I drank, and they're like, oh,
this
you're
guy's from Texas.
I can barely understand you, bro.
That's fantastic. I actually am from Texas.
Really? Which
part? Born in Lubbock, Texas, baby, and I do have horns. So,
isn't that Aggies? You're supposed to be Aggie there.
I was born in Lubbock, grew up in Louisiana, a little place called Farmerville, Louisiana. I love that little town, but you can't take all of me away from Texas. I am a Texan by birth.
Yes.
Of it.
Yeah, that's
the star that counts.
Yeah. Like a friend of mine at that he where was he from? He was Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
You have to do that little but he was like, yeah, so were you born here? I was like, yeah, I was born in this great nation of Texas. You mean state, right? I'm like, huh. No.
Have you seen the annexation?
You gotta read some of our stuff.
I love it so much, man. But no, we get to travel the country. We get to meet so many people. And, I know that right now there is a lot of junk happening in our country. I get it. We seem to be kind of on a bipolar nation right now. But the reality is it's still out there. That patriotism still exists out there. Don't believe everything that you hear when you hear that the patriotism isn't out there. It's there.
No, I get that. That's what's really sad because every once in a while we get a little bit of political. It happens. It's gonna happen. You're gonna end up sparking that one thing. And I keep on telling people because I have a couple of people tell me it's like, well, you shouldn't get political on your stuff. You're only getting I was like, what's really sad is I'll have a person that's full on Democrat. I'm Republican. I'm not really like Republican, more middle, down the middle. It's like I believe, some things on the left should be good to go, and some things on the right should be good to go. I'm happy, just leave my shit alone. I'm good. But a lot of people don't. They see everything that's flashing in their face, and they forget that. That's one thing. But it doesn't matter who you voted for or who you think is right or what kind of scientific things you believe in nowadays. And that still gets me only because I'll give you an example after I'm done with this. And I've seen like people just help each other out constantly.
That's the key right there.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have like weird stuff happen. Like this happened in Brazil, and I still got to finish up the video for my TikTok. It was a trans woman sing Whitney Houston's "I'll Always Love You." You being what we already verified off air, you like musical stuff, right?
I do. I don't know if you can tell from behind me, but I've got a
Yeah,
couple
you
of
have your
music.
own. Yeah, you have your own sound stage and everything right there. Or
I'm not very good at it. I'm good enough that I can throw a
okay.
couple of notes together and call it a day.
I can guarantee you, even though she won this competition, okay, she won this competition. I'll mail you it. It is hilarious because it sounded like your dog.
Oh man.
What would happen was she was transgender and she was deaf. And I'm like, should I make fun of this? Because this is pretty good. This is hilarious. No, yeah, no. Okay. Well,
Answer.
we'll wait on it. We'll wait on
It's no.
it.
That's-
But and she won the competition. She was like, I was like, this is a joke, guys, right? This has got to be a joke. It wasn't a joke. So
well, you know, I can understand how there's a necessity of encouragement. And what we get to do is we get to go around and we get to be part of that world that really encourages others to step up and stand out. Um, I, I guess there would have to be some guidelines and some what are you judging on for whatever to be valid. My thing though, like personally, is I'm not red or blue. I'm red, white, and blue,
yeah.
and I love everybody. It's not my role to tell someone else what they do or don't do, or to judge them for what they're doing. Just don't put it in my face.
Yeah.
Don't judge me because I'm not leaning a certain direction.
And that's what we actually do need to have in this country. I mean, a lot of vets actually were part of the military when 9/11 happened. They keep on saying the same thing. I wish we could have a September 12th, because the whole United States was like brought together at that point in time. It took a very bad travesty to implement something that it instilled into everybody. I mean, you couldn't buy a American flag that day because they're all sold out.
You know, I think that's a really good point. I think that might be one of the biggest reasons why I love doing what we do. Every single show that we get to jump into, every single one of them is almost like September 12th all over again. And now that you just said that, I just clicked just now. You know what? I get to experience that all the time, every single show. So sometimes that lasts for a few hours, sometimes it lasts for a couple of minutes, but in that moment, we get to remember what that was about. We promised to remember. We
Yeah.
did. In fact, our whole mantra is honor, remember, and serve, because we honor and remember those who have set the world before us and those who are coming after us. And we give back to the community, so we get to experience that every single show. I feel you. I feel you, brother.
I mean, I was watching the whole thing, and I had a I end up any kind of event or thing I get attached to just my time, and I end up like missing the whole show, but I'm in there because I had my because your team asked me to get a couple of pictures, and I totally forgot that the guy right next to me was taking pictures. I could let go with that one hand, and he asked me to run his camera. Of course, I was like, he sent me the video. Oh, did you want the video? Because I could send it to you.
100%.
Okay, I'll have to refund it and everything, but I'll get it to you.
Good deal.
But I was like, you're not military, but you might get this. How bad would you be pissed off if that lovely lady right there and all I was getting was her buttocks? And he was like, dude, my wife edits this stuff. Please do not do that. And I was like, come
Please
on.
don't.
Would you understand a little bit? He's like, yeah, but I have to still tell my wife that someone else, and I don't think she would believe that someone else videoed it and everything.
That
So
is
please
hilarious.
don't.
I must be the fifth.
Okay. I was like, fair enough. I don't want you to die or have death-like symptoms.
No death today.
No death or death-like symptoms. That's what I always like to say.
Yeah, I want that video, man. That's actually, we should post that video up there. I swear I got out. I have no idea where. I mean, everything looked the same on that jump. I had no clue. I was up in the front. So as the plane was inbound,
Mhm.
I'm the one who was up in the front who was relaying information to the pilot. By the way, Doc Runyon is one of the best pilots I have ever had the pleasure of working with. He's a surgeon there in Dallas Fort Worth, Dr. William Runyon, Bill, Doc. But he has a Beech 18, old school Beech 18, and those were used for intelligence, reconnaissance, small artillery. I mean, not artillery, but small munitions. Just it was a great old war aircraft that we get to jump out of. But we're flying in. I've got the headphones on, and I'm relaying information to the pilot. And I would stand up, go over to the window, look outside, try to find out where we are. I got no clue. Go to the back of the door, try to look down. I look down at Jeff, who's one of my buddies who was on the jump with us. Where are we? Back up to the front. Hey, that was the first and only jump that I was literally holding my cell phone, guiding the pilot in because he didn't have the coordinates set up. He didn't have enough time for it, right? So I was guiding the pilot in, literally using Google Earth on the airplane. Big Mike, who was working jump master duties, he had a hard time seeing it, and everything looked the same. If we
They
didn't have
popped
the
smoke. You couldn't see the smoke?
no, at first we couldn't. First we couldn't see it, and a lot of it was because of all the traffic that was going on. We had all those roads that interlapping, but we knew the direction, and we had a lot of trust and faith in Doc and Uncle Google, and we got there. And Mike got eyes on, and we were able to get that jump out. But brother, when I got out, everything looked the same. Nothing was unique out there. It was all gray, drab, roads everywhere, buildings, all the parking lots looked the freaking same. It was a blast. And as scary as it was honestly, it's probably one of my favorite jumps out there.
Yeah, the scary ones are always the fun. Anything that you have to like check your pulse afterwards, make sure you're still alive because you might have had a heart attack. But
what I love about those jumps are, go ahead.
I should have just asked you when you. I was like, "Oh man, how'd you do that?" I have no idea.
I have no idea. I think I've seen the video where I get out and you can literally hear me say, "I have no idea where I am." Yeah, Window World is one of our major sponsors, and I didn't know this, but those guys, man, they are one of the biggest employers for veterans across the country. That's where we get to. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea until I found all this information kind of just recently here. But they're one of the biggest employers of veterans, and they have a phenomenal veteran program. That's what we get to do. We get to travel, put people in touch with veterans organizations, help that veteran community take care of each other because we're family.
Then I gotta get send your information to Chris. He was the other guy, the Black Rifle Coffee Fund, BRCC fund guy.
Yes, sir.
He was with me because he was there networking for the BRCC fund, but he was actually we hadn't seen each other in a year because the last time we saw each other was up at the TAC. We've been keeping in touch now, and he was like, "Oh, I forgot to get those guys for the jumps and everything because they have their own jump program and whatnot." But I was letting him know. I was like, "Oh, did you get?" I was like, "No, they just ran off." I was like, "Oh, you're not pretty enough sometimes."
That had to be fast.
Yeah, that was a real fast jump.
I'm up, they see me, I'm down, I'm out.
Yeah, and if I blinked, I would have missed it. But on that note, because y'all do a lot of tandem jumps also, tell me about that.
Yeah, so we run a tandem program. Most of them are done out of Skydivers XP out here in Rayford, North Carolina. But we tend to jump a lot of VIPs, and by that I mean we produce a lot of fundraiser tandems. We do a lot of donating for fundraiser tandems, and people get in. I mean, I've done tandems that have been sold off for upwards of $10,000.
Baby Jesus.
Yeah, but they're for phenomenal causes. And that's the thing about it, as we exit from the military, you want to continue making an impact in the world. This is the way that we found to continue making a big impact on the world. So we do get the joy of doing tandems. In fact, we just had a tandem camp. We did what's called the Gold Star Family Tandem Camp, Operation Support Our Troops America. They did a tandem camp, and these are individuals who have lost loved ones, whether it be a dad, son, mother, sister, lost them, and they're gold stars. So they came in, and we do a little special release program in the sky. I can't tell you about it here. You have to be part of the program to know what it is. But we do a little release thing in the sky under canopy from about 5,000 feet above. Now we jump out about 13,000 feet, but once the canopy comes open, we
I
hit
have a
about 5,000
horrible
feet.
mind.
We have a special little ceremony we do.
I'm sorry, I just have a horrible mind. It's like I don't know why. I just thought you like you unbuckle the person you're with. Someone just and catches them. It's like
Gotta go catch
"Get
them,
the
right?
rope out there."
Yeehaw! That's what he said. That's no. No, so a lot of times those special tandems, they wind up being just full of tears. A lot of tears are shed on those tandems. If you think about it, they're honoring the ones that they lost.
Yeah.
And so a lot of tears. A lot of people are struggling. And here's the thing, and I'm gonna be straight up front with you. So we know that the vast majority of people, especially those who have served in combat, we struggle with this little thing called PTSD. Now we're trying to change that to no longer being PTSD, it's PTSG, so post traumatic stress growth, right?
Mhm.
But the vast majority of us struggle with PTSD. So we do a lot of focusing on elements of PTSD and bringing light and help to those. So a lot of people who come in there, when they walk in that door, they're hurting. They're looking for something. So what we do is we give them the opportunity to get up. And if we've learned that if you can do something ridiculous like jumping out of a beautiful airplane, deep sea scuba diving with sharks, something crazy that you wouldn't normally do, it can help catapult you to a level of healing. That is what our entire mission is all about. And so we get to share that message across the country in numerous ways. One of those ways is our tandem program.
Yeah, and it's so strange that that just something like that can help out a person. And I was like, the one thing I did, and I didn't think I would get anything from it as experience, is my dad did an honor flight. I could do an honor flight if I wanted to. I just, I went on his. I had to pay my money to do it, and I could have had it done for free. But what they do is they take veterans and they go to Washington D.C. and they go visit the memorials and the Air Force Band.
Mm-hmm.
And they're treated nice. The one thing that took it from me, and this is just one charity organization. I know y'all's charity or organization does it one way, another one does it another way. And when you get off the plane, the fire department gives a salute with their sprayers, the hoses. I had a firefight guy right next to me. I was like, dude, have you ever seen something like that? He's like, I figured you'd say yes. Like, he's a firefighter. It's like, oh, dude, that's awesome. I've never seen that. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, what? I was like, aren't you a fireman? I was like, yeah, but I've never seen this. I'm usually inside the vehicle doing this. But they had like in each drop point, like when we're coming from the airport and coming to the airport, is they have like people celebrating, saying hi, and they have it's an event on itself. And I just I just don't get that kind of like, oh, I did this. But that was the only time in my life that I was like, oh, there's people that actually give a shit.
Yeah.
It is so strange. And these are all volunteers that do this. They write in and this is for my dad. So they'll have like name of one of the people that was on the flight, and it's like, hey, I was like, hey, Dad, isn't that your name? Are we supposed to follow that person, or they just have? I was confused. I was getting everything ready and doing it. So, but yeah, huh?
What do I do with my hands? What's
Yeah, that's basically it. I was like, okay, we'll just go. I got lost because I was so
I feel you.
but it was one of those situations, and I keep every person that I talk to, I'm like, yeah, I did this. It was amazing. I was surprised. I was really surprised. I was just gonna go, I just want to visit the memorials, but it's the little things that a lot of people. I was like, how long is a jump? What? Probably about 30 seconds.
The tandem itself? Oh, well,
Yeah.
if you jump from about 13,500-ish feet, you're probably going to have about 60 seconds. The human body falls at about 120 miles per hour. And if you're larger, you're going to fall a little bit faster. When you have two bodies together, we fall a lot faster, but we have a drogue parachute behind us that slows us down to about 120. So at that velocity, usually between 50 and 60-ish seconds of free fall. And then you have about a 5 to 7 minute parachute ride.
Oh, okay. But I mean, it's like a roller coaster. It's basically there's the only thing I can actually describe it. It's basically it's a roller coaster. But I've seen people that do a tandem jump and they just change their views on life.
Yeah, 100%.
It is so strange. Something that small, that quick, and their lives are changed.
2013, I won the third Special Forces Soldier of the Year competition, NCO of the Year competition, because we're both soldiers here. We know what NCO means.
That was Air Force, but I don't know what surgery is.
And they gave me a surprise tandem parachute jump with the Golden Knights, the Army's parachute team.
Okay.
And when I get there, I'm trying to pretend like I'm not afraid, right? I was scared to freaking death, but I was trying to pretend like I wasn't. So I was saying things like in my interview, yeah, I'm gonna fly with the birds. I'm gonna watch the curvature of the earth. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing. And they were like, okay, buddy. Okay. So I get up there and I'm right before I exit the aircraft. Noah Watts was my tandem instructor. I'm sitting basically in his lap on the edge of the plane. Knees are hanging out. Wind is pushing us. I'm getting ready to go. I'm still terrified, right? Because I'm scared of heights. Still terrified. Touches my chin up, hands in, ready, set, go. Within about 5 seconds, my entire world changed. I knew at that moment that this is what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. And when I landed, I'm going to watch the curvature of the earth change to, that was the most exhilarating thing I've ever done. I have to have my license now. And I literally went out almost immediately and started getting my license. A few weeks later, I had my license complete. 9 months later, I had a pro rating. A few years later, had my tandem rating. Now I get to travel the country with these guys.
That's
Changed
awesome.
my whole life. Changed my life.
That is awesome. That really is awesome. And sorry if I'm a little speechless because I've heard people do that, and that's like the biggest thing I've ever done in my life, and it didn't change my life. It was I mean, if you hadn't noticed, I'm kind of a nerd. I've actually met Stan Lee.
What?
Yeah,
See, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I impressed a lot of people with that. That's my but yeah, I mean, I met Stan Lee, and what was a really great thing about that? I wanted to do something special that a lot of people didn't know about. Because a lot of people, they just see Stan Lee as Marvel's Goat Boy, comic books, all that kind of stuff. He was prior service. He was in World War II. He did like documentary stuff. And I had my dad. My dad does this constantly. If he meets you and he finds out what service you're at, he keeps like coins of each service. So he'll hand you your service coin. I mean, you probably have like 50,000 of them, but my dad did that. I was like, hey, Dad, make sure you have army coin. He's like, okay, yeah, whatever. My dad gets me. I mean, we grew up together. I feel. Uh,
I love
but
it.
but we did the photo. I was like, thank you, sir, and walked over, and I hear the back is like, oh, thank you so much, sir, thank you. Because my dad handed them a coin, and they just, it's a cookie cutter line, basically a factory line. They get you in photo, okay, boom. But my dad handed him an army challenge coin, and he looked at it for a second, and my dad stood there for like half a second there shooing us off. But Stan was like, hold on, thank you, sir, thank you. I want to thank you so much,
That is
because he's
awesome.
a very advocate for any veteran too.
Mhm.
But it was one of those things that changed my view. I was like, I changed Stanley. I
Yes.
got my dad to, and my dad was like, he thanked me so much. I mean, like, yeah, Dad. I mean, that was for you. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, I mean, how often can you say that you made Stan Lee smile? You made someone that impacted, that's a legend in society. And you have that. He's like, he puffed up a little bit. Of course, I smacked him on the chest to bring him back down. Like, it's a father son love type deal. I was like, no, don't get too high there, Dad.
Man, those little things like that. Yeah, I don't have anyone near as cool as you. The team itself, Big Mike Elliott, you know, he's tandem with President Bush a few times.
Okay.
We've had
H or W?
uh, HW H. Yeah.
W is the last one.
Roger.
Damn it! Now I'm gonna question
Daddy,
that.
Daddy, it was Daddy.
Okay, it was H then.
Hey,
Okay, there we go. That was a psyche val test for me.
It's good. Yeah, it's funny because I could actually see the wheels almost spinning up there. You know, the light started shivering on your hat, and this guy was thinking, it's good.
Really hard. You had to give me a clue there, buddy.
I shifted left, right, left, right. I got to figure this out. It's fantastic.
Yes. I'm like, no, was it? No, H is okay, Dad. Okay, yeah, it was H. I'm so
No, we've
confused.
had the opportunity to jump some just amazing people. And I'll be honest, as amazing as those VIPs are, it's the ones that I tend to lean to the most are those who have been hurting the most. And it's because they're emotional jumps. They're releasing that pain. But let me tell you, some of them are just a blast. I had a tandem today. It was a lady's. She was celebrating her 80th birthday today. 80th birthday, right?
Mhm.
And it's cold as ice up there today, but man, we're up, and she is just having a blast. She's screaming and hooping and hollering, and we ask her if she wants to do some spirals. She says, let me spiral, and I didn't have to count to three. She pulled that toggle down to the right side, and we were spiraling like crazy. Had a blast. 80 years old, living it up. And then every now and then you get the ones who are, a lot younger, who just lost a parent and they're hurting. So you have this wide array of emotion that you get to be part of. And really that's what it's about, is we get to meet and link up and connect with all of these people. And man, that's what keeps my mind moving forward.
That's
We've all had a tough time. Life is difficult for the vast majority
yeah.
of us, you know. So that release is just
Is it like euphoric when you do jumps like that?
I think especially for the first time, it's get that. Yeah, I mean, there's always that element of danger and euphoria, but for me at this point in my career, I don't really feel that same holy cow that I did in the very beginning, because now I'm accustomed to it. now I get to live almost vicariously through the people that I get the honor of taking on a tandem skydive. Now I get the euphoria from landing and hitting a target. Now, the little bitty tiny target on a show site, I love landing there. If I can land on that one tiny target, man, that's made my day. I'm good for a weekend now.
That's awesome. See, that's the only thing that I kind of get away from because doing stuff like this. I mean, doing it with my other host. You know, we do the nerd sports. We do psychos and sociopaths, talking about serial killers. But doing I made what the hell, which this is going to go on to. That was the actual. You know, I'm more or less. I get to interview other people. I got to talk about interesting stuff. And talk about interesting stuff that we were talking about at a restaurant, and a cop was right behind us, and we shouldn't have been talking about it. We were talking about, okay, Japan has these new masks. Well, it was new at the time. They're like $100, and they are hands down. It's like if I took your face, put it on this mask, I would have your face on my face. It's like Face Off, basically.
That's both cool and weird at the same time.
Yes, but we were talking about get these masks. We could rob a bank with other person's face. And I didn't notice the cop behind me.
Oh, no.
And he got a free meal. So I was just, you give a person a free meal, they won't remember any kind of conversation.
Sure they won't.
But
like those TikTok videos, have you seen where they're talking about how to get away with certain things in your car, like smoking drugs or whatever, and the cop duets the video and it's taking notes. Thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, got you. Appreciate the tip. Heads up. Thank you very much. Thank you for your service.
I have a guy on this. And you can reach out to him, Eric Tansey. Look up Eric Tansey on Instagram.
Eric Tansey. Let me write this down. Eric Tansey. Got it.
I'll send you the link. But he's about to have a book come out of his 8 years as a cop. He's he was special forces in the Army. Yeah, and he became a cop in North Carolina, Ryle, North Carolina. Or South Carolina. No, is it? Raleigh's in South Carolina, isn't it? Or North?
Raleigh? No, it's North Carolina, brother. Raleigh, yeah. It's north of Fayetteville.
Oh. Okay. Actually, you could probably go visit him on Friday. He has he owns a distillery now. He makes rum.
Nice.
But yeah, tell him I sent you.
I will.
Well, he has a book.
That you would give me a couple of, he made promises for you, brother.
And that won't work. No, definitely. I will like, dude, just send me the fuck bill. I got nothing. But no, he talks about his life as a cop is hilarious. I'll send you the TikTok video that of one of the episodes. Part of the episode.
Deal.
He was talking, is like this guy skidded off the road. This is the one that I'm gonna send you. He was talking to a guy that skidded off the road. He was drunk and shit. He was like, dude, I don't want to have to deal with this. It's 4 o'clock and I'm gonna go to breakfast. Hand me your key, or toss your keys out in the field. Well, how far? Oh, just toss them. His mistake was him letting him do that. He stole the truck, and he has a warrant out for murdering 2 people, and he just didn't care.
What?
That day. And then he had to track him down after from what he describes, he got to the breakfast thing, getting breakfast, and they had all points that the guy was running, so he had to chase after this guy again. So but it was one of those it was one of those moments after I'm done with the episode. I'll tell a person right off the bat. It was like,
Uh,
I don't listen to my own stuff.
yeah.
It's less Tansies on it or BC. BC is another one that's in that area that I'll listen to over. I mean, me and BC did like a close to about 4 hours. We did a
Nice.
but we ended up chatting like movies and
Mhm.
cop stuff because I have an interesting life. I was like correctional officer too, so
Good.
I get along with cops real easy because I'm like, you send them to us, and sometimes they're good, sometimes you just want to take a baseball bat to their head,
Man, put this guy on 60 days in.
pretty much. But what do you is the jumping the only thing that you do, or what do you do in your as a
Well, being retired, I think I work more now that I'm retired than I did when I was in. Got the family life going on. You have to balance the best you can your family life with your work life. But also for me, it's mostly jumping. Just to be honest with you, I like to dilly dabble in a little bit of music. I'm not a musician. I like to pretend like I am, but I'm not. I love to play with music. I love to hang out with my kids. I love to be a boy.
so you're basically retired.
I'm retired, hence the facial growth.
I just have a little bit of seasoning on there, nothing too big, but
Or I'm thinking about just dyeing it all white and just going and getting it over with.
no, a lot of people like the seasoning, the salt and pepper look.
Hmm.
I don't
Well,
know.
I was bald for 20 years, bald by choice. Now I'm trying to grow this hair out thing here. We got this little bald spot right here, right back here on the back that I'm that I'll work on. See, I like it. He knows.
Yeah, I didn't do the whole bald look. I did the whole I'm gonna see how long I can get it before they kick me out type deal, or they force me to cut my hair.
Uh,
But and now I'm like, wish I had my hair back. Hey, it's
well,
thinning, it's still there. It's just almost gone.
I will probably get back to going back to bald at some point in time in the near future, but for now I'm going to enjoy a little bit of the hair on the top of the head. I just want to know if I could grow it. I didn't even know if I could anymore.
So what kind of movies do you like watch Point Break and get like pointers on the next jump you're gonna
Man, I love watching movies with skydiving in it. It's like a soldier watching a movie with bad soldiering in it. Very rarely do they get it right. Tom Cruise gets a lot of his scenes right.
Oh, what was the last one? It was Ghost Protocol, wasn't it? No, Fallout
Um,
or something like
was
that.
it? Yeah, whichever one it was. Yeah, I've seen
It
that
was the
one.
last one. I mean, they have a new one coming out, but it was the last one that he had to do like a Halo jump.
Yeah, and that was a pretty decent scene. The team president actually did a series on it about he was judging the scene, what's real, what's not real, what could actually work, what couldn't work. They got a lot of it spot on, some of it not so quite spot on. But Tom Cruise actually does a lot of good work when it comes to skydiving, and he actually what I love about him is he actually does it, a lot of it himself. So
Yeah, he I
that's
mean, after what it was, I think from one of the interviews that he did, he was talking about uh how the first Top Gun, he was sick, he all the stuff that he did in that movie, it just got him to it's like we're not doing this again. I mean, I'm gonna go do this if I get a chance. We're gonna do a part two, but I'm not gonna feel this way. That's when he started actual learning how to fly a plane.
no kidding. Nice.
Yeah, he
Kind of
owns a. I think he own. I know he own. I think it's. I forget which style of MiG, but it's the jet. He owns an actual jet, but you can own a MiG, one of the older models MiGs. But
that's pretty cool.
yeah, I go down rabbit holes sometimes to
Mhm.
figure stuff
starting to.
Yeah, for research. I mean, all my friends know now is like, okay, Dave, if anything happens to you, what are we looking about your hard drives? It's like, dude, we're looking at you're gonna have I'm setting it up in my will. Whoever wants to do it and whoever's left alive has to take a trip to Hawaii or Iceland. Why those two places? Both of them have volcanoes, dude. Think about it. Come on. you're, you're gonna destroy some stuff.
I love it. I love it. I love it. No, man, I love hunting, fishing. I love my movies. Marvel. I'm a massive Marvel and Star Wars fan. Definitely team old school Star Wars.
I'm with
Not
you.
new school. Yeah.
I,
Four, 5, 6.
they messed up on the new stuff.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they took that direction that they did with that thing.
Well,
And I feel, and I don't like talking negatively about really much of anything, but I feel passionate about this part. So, the whole bringing Palpatine back, I feel like it
it was canon.
dissolved the whole energy and emotion attached to when Darth Vader threw the Emperor over the side. That was a major sacrifice that he made, and bringing him back just meh. Now the canon is just okay.
Look at I think it was a Dark Horse comic, but I'm not sure if it was an actual book. Look at the book Dark Empire.
Okay.
And that's what they were trying to do with that last one.
Mm-hmm. Can I bring it back?
Yeah,
now, I like that Dark Empire part. I really enjoyed Exegol, how you pronounce that word. I really enjoyed that particular scene. I love the dark side of it, but I just that moment.
It was cooler in the comics.
I believe it.
The whole storyline in the Dark Empire was the fact that Luke kind of went back to the dark side, and then Leia was the one that brought him back, and it was a better storyline than that one. I mean, you had the executioner class Star Destroyers. But it was a little different design from what they had, because they just used like regular Imperial Star Destroyers, and they had the gun on the bottom that was basically Death Star lasers but smaller.
Nice.
But in the comics, the whole thing was just huge and it's beautiful. And I was like, why didn't they go with that? There's a lot of stuff in the movies, and I'm like,
didn't Luke bring down a Star Destroyer on his own? Isn't there one out there where he brings one down? I know they kind of referenced it with the new Obi-Wan series, which I think was fantastic, by the way. But I'm pretty sure one of the comics that I read had him bringing an entire Star Destroyer down using the Force.
Because they also did it in Force Unleashed too. Because you had that one part in the game where you had to like
yes,
and Starkiller had to bring it down.
Yes. See, I'm a nerd. I'm good with this.
I don't know why, but every time it's like I got a sixth sense and I can smell it. But no, it's just interesting on that how you got into tandem jumping, and what's the most troubles that you have when doing tandem jumps, though? Because it's been a while for me.
Yeah, so
jumping.
I mean, we do a lot of rigorous training to make sure that we're able to counter anything that comes up, right? I would say the most common problem that we have are honestly people's body positions. Now we're trained, and I of course I have a long way to go. I'm nowhere near where some of our guys are. We've got Christopher Ace Acevedo, who is just a phenomenal tandem instructor. Big Mike Elliott just is like a sky god in the tandem instructor world. So I've got a long way to go, but they train us to to counter everything that the student does. Like if a student comes out and they're grabbing, I've got the hands out in front of you, your legs are way up, you could tumble. When you're taught to be as stable as possible, get yourself big and get control of that air. Another issue would be that if students started grabbing your equipment, we've got two handles. I've got a cutaway and a reserve handle. If my student grabs that cutaway handle, I've got no parachute above my head. If they grab my reserve deployment handle, now I've got two parachutes above my head. So we try to teach them to not grab handles. So we give them something to do with their hands. I think the biggest problems though that we face are I've been urinated on, I've been I've been vomited on. I've never had anybody pass out on me. I did have one person reach up and grab my toggle at the very end and just pull down hard. Big old boy just grabbed up. I don't know why he did what he did. Coming in for landing, he pulled down the left side, and I took him for a nice dive. And what I did was I just threw my body beneath his. I took the brunt of the fall. I knew it was going to hurt, but hey, it saved both of us. But eating lunch right before a parachute jump, your tandem jump, is probably not the best thing out there, especially when it includes spaghetti and milk. Just saying.
Now I kind of just want to eat a mixture so I can just. It's like, dude, I'm ready for a tandem jump.
Well,
Everyone
I'll tell you,
away from that asshole.
I've got a good friend of mine who is now an avid skydiver, man, and he was the first person that introduced me to something other than rain coming in. We're about, I'm gonna guess, about 20 seconds from landing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it because I had an open face helmet, and I remember thinking, I didn't know it was gonna rain today. Okay, cool, no big deal. Do a little bit of a turn, get ready to come in landing, and it's raining hard in my face. And I realized that's not rain. This guy is blowing chunks out in front of us, and the wind is pushing it back on top of us. And that poor guy, we landed, and he was covered in it. But he had such a good time. He now has got I think he's got over 200 skydives, just bought another parachute, and he's having a blast with it. And I love that story. He's my brother. I will do anything for him. I just feel a little closer to him now that I've, been covered in things coming from the stomach.
I was listening to Andy Stumps tell his tale. You know who Andy Stumps is, right?
Mm-mm.
Navy SEAL. All he does is like skydiving stuff now. I think he had the world's records for the longest. What's that squirrel suit? The
wingsuit.
Yeah, wingsuit. He had the longest distance on a wingsuit.
Excellent.
Well, when he was a SEAL, same thing more or less happened with you, but it was as an interpreter, and he didn't. He had a lot of dead weight when he landed, only because he got pissed off at that guy. So knocked him out.
I love it. I love it so much. But man, I wouldn't change anything at all. Like all of these experiences, even those odd ones where lunch came up, they're all their own unique little experience. And the truth is, the vast majority of us, when we get out of the military, we lose connectivity. We stop moving. Our bodies begin to die. Our minds begin to fall apart. And this is just the way that I personally have found to keep my mind, my body focusing forward. And I get to give back to the community. So man, our mission is you continue moving forward. Keep moving. Keep going. Don't stop.
It was it. If you're not learning, you're already dead, type deal.
Yeah, it's one of those where you don't get old because you don't stop moving because you get old. You get old because you stop moving.
Yeah.
So keep going.
Of course, that kind of messed me up this week. I was supposed to have another guest on last week, and luckily I found someone really quick to get on this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And well, the person ended up messaging me, and I started writing my book that I've been like holding off to writing. I was like typing away and everything, and I read this note. I was like, okay, I'll check that in a second. Kept on getting messages. I was like, I looked at it. I was like, okay. Who the fuck is she talking about? I just totally forgot because she was using cryptic stuff. It's like he's not in a good place. That's the reason why. I was like, who's not in a good place? Who's she talking about? Am I gonna have to save somebody today? I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, about my boyfriend being on your podcast. I was like, one, don't use cryptic stuff. I'm writing a book right now. My mind is focused on that. She's like, oh, really? Was it? I was like, no. We're going off of your stuff. It's okay. And I'm gonna get back on my stuff. But I'm one of those people. My ADD, I got that focus ADD. So if I get focused on something, I get totally focused, and the whole world could be burning. And I would.
Yeah. He's got that laser-like focus, man. Don't.
It is.
And if you get interrupted with it, it's like the whole world it changes. You have that.
Yeah.
That vision.
If I had the know-how, I could probably dismantle a bomb while everything's going. It's that laser focus. I'm like, hey, can someone like keep it down? Dude, we're in a war zone. Oh yeah, that's right.
That was a bomb. Going back. Isn't it weird? Sometimes I kind of miss the combat environments. And I hear that from a lot of my buddies. Sometimes they kind of miss those environments.
It's the chaos. I mean, my life right now, other than the fact that I've made chaos for myself. I mean, I literally have. I have to keep. I almost forgot. I thought it was yesterday that we were supposed to do this, and I was freaking out. Because I was like, literally, I was taking a shower. I was like, do. No. I looked at the clock. I was like, oh man, it's almost 5. I'm gonna have to be on. It's Thursday. It's Wednesday. But it's that chaos. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, you get that adrenaline boost a little bit because you messed up, and you're trying to figure out how you're gonna fix it. It's a problem-solving aspect of, oh, I got this. I'm gonna have to deal with this now. How do I fix this? I have a guy that on the show like Monday, and that's what I mean. He was talking about being an addict and all that stuff, and he's like, if you give me a problem now, I want to fix it. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. I mean, giving a person a chaotic situation like jumping out of a perfectly good airplane that's not going down or anything, and then you have the weightlessness of that, and like skydiving, not skydiving, but actual deep sea diving. I did that for a little bit only because I was going to this. We were filling up our tanks for paintball. We found this like scuba place that did it for like really cheap, and everybody was like getting their stuff done and getting out. But I went in. I love talking to people, and I was talking to the lady. She's like probably around about 70, 75 in that time frame, and she was like, I have joint pains, I got this, but if it wasn't for diving, she'll go dive, and this is when I found out like the pressure of going deep sea diving actually fixes your joints for a little bit. It gives you kind of a relief. Yes.
Note to self: deep sea diving is on my list.
Well, I think it's if you have like arthritis and joint pains and everything, going diving, because it's the pressure on your joints that actually relieves the pain.
That is fantastic to know.
Yeah, but it was one of those things. If I hadn't, didn't want to talk to her or anything like that, I wouldn't have known. That's the reason why I just like having good conversations, like learning about skydiving and everything, even though I have like, a general idea because I did a couple of jumps, but it's been 20 years since I jumped last.
It's time for you to get some knees in the breeze again, there, brother.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just my knee. I was I was a skateboarder for a while. I was doing competitions when I was younger. I was probably around about 15 or so. It's the reason why I don't skateboard is because I broke both my ankles doing a I wasn't even I was going to a competition and I was training for that competition, and my skateboard moved. My legs didn't move with the skateboard or move away, and the top rail, both my feet hit the top rail and broke both of my ankles.
Okay. Yeah. Between that and the gopher hole, man.
Dude, if I get like seriously badly hurt on doing something, I won't do it again. Yeah, it's that whole thing. I was like, I do believe the good Lord wishes me not to do this
I
anymore.
do believe the good Lord has got a message for me in this situation.
How do you figure that? Because I can't feel my leg now.
Ain't got no gas. I know what's wrong with it.
I know
Ain't
what's
got
wrong
no
in it.
gas.
I know what's wrong in it. Ain't got no gas in it.
Got no gas.
But that's another thing that I find funny too, is people that are scared of heights. I talked to a guy that does he was a lineman. He was scared of heights. He was a lineman. He was scared of heights, and he does the wingsuits too. I was like,
there's a message there somewhere, I'm telling you.
there is a slight message there, and no, I'm not. I'll do a tandem jump, because tandem jump, I feel that it's not all my fault. It's more or less the guy behind me. But
You know, it's funny. A lot of people think that you're going to experience a tandem jump just like a roller coaster. Like they think that you're going to have that feeling of falling. And most people who are afraid of doing that jump, they're actually afraid of that feeling of falling. I get it. I don't like that feeling either. But you know, Newton's law, a body in motion stays in motion. And since you're already traveling with the airplane going anywhere between 70 to 120 miles per hour, you don't stop Wile E. Coyote style and just stop in the air and just fall straight down. You have the forward throw of the aircraft, right?
yeah.
So you're not going from 0 to terminal velocity. You're already going between 70 and 120. You just transition to a vertical descent. And so you really don't feel that feeling of falling. And then anything, over 2 to 3,000 feet in the sky, you have no depth perception. So you don't know that you're high up in the sky. You have no perception. You don't get the feeling of falling. All you really feel is that I'm floating and there's wind all around me. You can't even see really past the first few feet of you. You have to be pointed out. So you have to be pointed to all the clouds around you sometimes. So it's really, you've got that tunnel vision that comes in. And so it's really not a situation of feeling of falling. You're floating, and it's amazing. It's exhilarating. It's sometimes life-changing.
So what's the big difference between the tunnel and actually jumping? Because I know a lot of people, like, they practice with the wind tunnels. And
so it takes some good training to manage your body in the sky, because it's not natural. Your body, when you're falling, so you're unconscious, you're going to flip around, flop around a lot. So you have to learn how to position your body in the sky. There are a lot of things that you can grab onto. Now, I'm no professional wind tunnel. I don't fly professionally in the wind tunnel. I've been in there several times, a lot of times. But there are some people there who can just do ridiculous, amazing things with the slightest movement at higher rates of speed. So in a wind tunnel, you can control the rate of speed. You can go to really, really low speed or incredibly high speed. So it allows you to do different things with your body, learn different levels of disciplines in the wind tunnel. And let me tell you, the wind tunnel athletes are athletes. They put their body through a lot of stuff. So my salute, my hats off to wind tunnel jumpers. But what it can also do is it can also teach you the dynamics of how to move your body in the sky for skydives. You're learning, learning proper body position. When I first started getting my license, I spent a whopping 5 minutes in the wind tunnel. And they say that every 60 seconds, the wind tunnel is like one skydive. That put me 5 skydives ahead of my training, if you will. So they're different, but they can also be very similar. We do a lot of our training for skydiving in the wind tunnel, and then you take your skills that you've learned in the wind tunnel out and put it into the air, and you do ridiculously amazing things like head down formation jumping, traveling at crazy incredible speeds. Like Chris Ace Acevedo, known for being like the fastest soldier in the military because he traveled over 370 something miles per hour. I think. Don't get mad at me, Chris, if I get the speed wrong. But he's one of the fastest guys out there because he's just all that training, skill, oomph.
Was he? Because I remember this thing. It was, what was it on? I think it was some kind of one of those car shows.
Back
Grand
in the day.
Grand Tour or something like that with the Brits, and they brought it in the United States. It was a test to see who could do this, who could land it faster, the Halo jumper or I forget, it was like an Aston Martin or a Corvette or something like that. Who can make that spot fastest? They basically started out the same at the same distance. I mean, he ended up doing like spins to go down faster, and it was just awesome to look at. And then he ended up going. I was like, "How? You are a wizard, sir." Because that's magic.
What is this magic?
I know. But so how fast do you usually how fast can you actually get doing a jump going down? What would be the safe speed, really?
And in the world of skydiving, safe is relative.
Well, yeah.
A lot of it would depend on the type of equipment that you're using, a parachute system. You have to use a parachute system that is designed for speeds at those levels. If you think about it, like if you have a rig or a parachute system that has like open flaps or whatever, that can be hazardous as you fall faster and at different angles and different speeds. A lot of this depends on your body type, your skill set. To be honest with you, I don't know, and I don't know if we've learned how fast you can actually get. I think speeds get faster all the time. Again, I'm not one of those jumpers. I do know some of those jumpers, but I don't think we've hit that point yet where we know quite yet. Because then, and that's the great thing about the sport is it's still being developed all the time. We're still pushing those limits all the time.
Yeah,
And I get to be a part of that community, even though I'm not doing the one who's angle jumping at ridiculous, amazing speeds. I still get to be part of that world.
When was the first parachute made? I was like, that's been almost 100 years, right? So it's only 100 years old.
I think, and I could be wrong.
I'm Googling it. I'm Googling it.
Googling up. I think it was an Italian guy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Da Vinci actually designed.
Yeah, I know. Leonardo da Vinci had one design because he had a lot of stuff. It's going to show up.
We've come a long, long, long way. They used to believe you couldn't even make contact in the sky with another body. We're talking like what, 50s and 60s or 60s, where that used to be the belief that you couldn't touch another person in the sky. We've since proved that wrong. But
they thought that if you go past 55 miles per hour, your car will disintegrate. So
physics.
Parachutist.
Yeah, so we've just come such a long way in the sport. Like when we're doing a show at a show site, what we've also learned is that we can jump out of really, really high places and you can't really see anything from high altitudes, right? But when you jump out of a lower altitude, the crowd can see the little tiny black dot, and it's exciting, man. As the question goes through their mind is, are they gonna make it? Then there's a puff of smoke, and they've got a parachute over the head. It's exciting.
Okay, this is so
What do you
strange.
think?
Leonardo da Vinci conceived the idea of the parachute in runnings, and the Frenchman Louis Sebastien Lemaitre jumped from a tree in 1783.
From a tree.
Yeah, but Andre
There
Jacqueline
it is.
Journin was the first to design and test parachute capable of slowing a man down from falling from heights. So I guess it's the French. So
Excellent. I saw a meme today that said, so one of the early guys wanted to prove that the act of jumping wouldn't kill you, so he jumped and did not die. Of course, the water killed him, but the fall didn't kill him.
no, the fall doesn't. That's another thing that mazes me is certain people's body capability, because I've heard so many stories of people jumping out of airplanes
Mhm.
and their parachute doesn't work and they fall. I know one guy, he fell out. The worst that he got was a broke ankle.
Completely out of a plane at terminal velocity.
300 feet.
Oh, 300 feet. Gotcha.
No, 300. Was it 300 feet? I think it was 300.
I mean, still 300 feet. That's death.
Yeah, that's still death.
That's death.
Yeah, and he's like,
Broken ankle.
he had to, because the doctors didn't believe him.
Mhm.
He had to have somebody from his unit
Mhm.
go with him and tell them what had happened so they could put it on the paperwork, because they weren't believing him. They thought it was some stupid
Insane.
stunt. I was like, no, it was a training accident. He fell out of the airplane at 300 feet and he got a broke leg. It's like, he
Broken
should
ankle.
be dead.
Why is he not dead?
Yeah, he should be like. Of course, I've heard like that one
Wherever
guy.
the guy is, have him next to me at all times.
Yeah,
Take him to combat, buddy.
yeah. I was like, another guy like bounced twice and still walked away.
Yeah, I saw a video. I can't remember who put it out, but they were trying to talk you into how to survive jumping without a parachute. And what they said was, I mean, it's almost impossible to do without training. But they said to stand. Your best chances are for you to stand up straight, hit with your legs first. Now, terminal velocity, you're still going to be pretty messed up.
Actually, your body would be doing that and that angle. You would actually gain more speed.
Exactly. If you stand up straight, you gain more speed.
Yeah.
I think they ran the calculations strictly off of 120 miles per hour.
Well, it's that whole thing about those.
I don't know anybody who could change at the last second to do a quick stand up right as they hit the ground. Like the guy who jumped out of a parachute into the big net. I forget his name. Phenomenal athlete. He flipped over on his back to land.
Yeah.
Did you see the video? You saw that, right? You need to go look up. See, parachute jump jump into a net, jump without a parachute. There's big video put out there. But he trained for a long time for it. He had a light system, and whenever he would maneuver left or right, the lights would they would indicate if he was at the proper angle or not. Had a massive net set up. Long story short, flipped over to his back and landed into the net without a parachute. Had proper authorization for it with FAA, from what I understand, but that was just an incredible feat. So we've come a long way, but I just don't see how anybody could feasibly stand up on their feet at the very last second if they don't know exactly what they're doing. Even then, survivability is pretty slim to none. Which is why I prefer a parachute.
Yeah. Well, it's like that whole thing about what was it? it was the bridge builders back in the day in New York. They basically said it's if you're falling off the bridge, throw your hammer down or throw some of your tools down so it'll break up the water.
Break
So you're
the
not
water.
going to die from hitting the water like it's concrete because there's a certain velocity once you hit the water at a certain
It's the,
speed.
the tensile strength, right? Of the surface tensile strength.
Yeah.
And if you break it up, then it won't have that tensile strength no longer.
In theory.
I was just about to say, but I've never done it, so I wouldn't know personally.
I'm not going to take my chances with that.
On purpose.
On purpose. Yeah. Yeah.
On purpose.
I mean, I've done some weird stuff. I had a guy. I had a guy. This is when I was like stupid young. You know, you get that you're invulnerable type.
Mm-hmm.
I had this one guy. He's jumping off of like a second story of an apartment building. He's like, "I am Batman." Jumps up, lands perfect. The sheer doing gymnastics for a little bit. And realizing, I mean, even when you're jumping on cushions or even on a trampoline, you still feel that kind of force going up through your body.
Mm-hmm.
The less resistance of the stuff like trampoline or driving in a certain distance of water, you still feel you still feel it going through your body.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff doesn't move.
Right.
It kind of sucks.
Man, I was jumping on a trampoline back, I think in either 2017 or 2018, in Washington.
What
with
is your
my child.
problem, boy? I mean, I did that like in 2017, and I was like, "Oh my Lord!"
But
I'm
I was
done for the day.
with my baby boy's mom, who is a phenomenal mom, by the way. Couldn't have asked for a better mom for my child. But we're out of this trampoline park, and um, trying to show off like I do, like boys do. I jump up and I hit right in between, where the springs are, in that hard area. I swear to God, I still feel it in my back to this day.
I believe it, and yeah, that is ridiculous. I would not do that. I'm looking at Luke Atkins, no parachute to 25,000 feet airplane jump complete video. Dude,
go share it, go view it, go watch it. It's amazing.
But yeah, it is. I mean, I think the funnest thing I've done with the parachute was go about 300 and I think I topped out at probably about 325. I was driving a funny.
Very nice.
Yeah, you can get those speeds if you drive a funny car. Those things are fast and fun.
I love it.
But yeah,
we're about.
Oh, it's. I mean, that's another thing I like doing. I mean, I love. It's like one thing. If I had the money, I would do the gumball rally.
Gumball rally. Educate me.
It's basically Cannonball Run. But
nice.
It's not from New York to it's not New York to LA. It's it's just along the East Coast, going from I think somewhere it's either Canada or somewhere close to Canada, and you're going all the down to Florida Keys.
Fun. You ain't first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
I know, right? But
did you put a cougar in it?
Oh, because you know who Richard Rawlings is, right?
Who's that?
Richard Rawlings, Gas Monkey Garage.
Roger. Yeah.
He broke the Cannonball Run. Say
what? See, I didn't know this. See, I came here to learn something today from you.
Dude, I have useless knowledge for days. Well, I just recently listened to his he was on Bert Kreischer's podcast. And I work in a factory, so the only thing I can do is mind-numbingly do my work and listen to stuff. I learned some weird stuff.
That's funny. It's good. It's
Uh-oh.
good for the soul that way.
Sometimes then you catch yourself doing something, learning something, and you're like, I don't know why I don't know this, but I learn this now.
I love it.
But he beat it by, I think he said about 37 minutes. And the way he did it, because someone bet him like $50,000 because they said because the Cannonball Run is a flip of the bird to organizations like cops and stuff like that. That was the whole general idea. I mean, the Gumball Ball Rally, there's no rules. I mean, you go as fast as you feel that or think you can handle.
Mm-hmm.
You get pulled over. I mean, that's just time off, and you're rich, so you just pay the ticket. You don't really have to. You're not really worrying about it. But to get into these competitions, you actually have to put money up front.
Got it.
But it's one of those competitions that let's see what kind of limits I can push and not get caught. Because he even said he's like, I've gone like 180 as long as there's no traffic or anything. Pedal to the metal on that one.
Fun.
I'm going up to South Dakota in 81. There's once you get to Nebraska.
Poke. Slacker. Take it so long for?
Huh?
Slow poke, slacker. What'd you take it so long for?
That's what I'm like, I shouldn't listen to that podcast when I'm about to do it because I might be going 80. I might be going 100, 130 miles an hour.
Man, I remember when I was a college kid, the first ticket I ever got was going almost 100 miles an hour. Why he didn't put me in jail, I have no idea. But probably because I was traveling with my wife.
My first ticket is about the same thing. Because my mom told me to get there and get back as fast as possible.
Yeah, I'm just doing what I'm told, Mom. You told me
that
to
was
get
my
there.
argument. That was my argument, even to the cop. My mom told me to get there and back as fast as possible. Did she say safely? No. No, she didn't.
I do what I'm told to do, and don't ask questions. All right.
Yeah, especially with Mama. But
the cop, Mama.
But the cop's like, I got you going. He was proud of it. I got you going 97. That was bullshit. That fucking meter said I was going 100 easy. It was my first ticket. The way in Texas, if it's your first ticket, it's off the books. You only pay like your first ticket price. Like it's like okay, we know you're gonna fuck up. We'll give you a cheaper rate, but don't fuck up again.
That is so funny.
But I don't know if any other states does it either. I mean, Oklahoma's really weird because their ticket is like $25 for speeding, just flat rate, $25. I'm like, that chump change.
Can I like pay in advance? Like it's like
I was thinking that one time. I was like,
that's funny. I would never. My driving is impeccable. Said none of my teammates ever.
You should meet my dad.
It's funny because when we get in the vehicle, I was asked, "Hey, you guys want me to drive?" Nope.
I learned you can get one of those big city buses on 2 wheels and still make a turn. And you can do it at like 35 miles an hour. It's good. Yeah.
Fellow speedster, I like it.
The TCNs were pissed and worried.
I love it.
I was yelling out, y'all might want to get on the left side. Like right now. We got to even this weight so we don't tip over.
See, but that's when you put like the brush guard on the front of the truck and you've got lights on top. They think you're a cop, so they're going to get out of the way and you can just go faster.
Which is still highly illegal.
What?
But
not at the light. The floodlights. I didn't say turn them on. Just have them there. Don't turn them on. That's illegal.
gonna have to ask a couple of friends of mine on that one.
So you ask your friend, then let me know what he says.
I'm gonna ask a couple of friends. I know a lot of cops. I was like my dad. My dad works at the sheriff's department, and I had another friend. He got pulled over for DUI because he was just being plain.
Mhm.
He's like, and he goes, I was like, well, have you ever gotten pulled over by a cop when you're drunk? They just give you a DUI and everything. It's like, huh, weird. I usually just talk to them, high five them, have a good conversation, don't yell at them at all.
Mhm.
They tell me to go home. He's like, how do you do that? I'm like, because I'm not a dick. And if you just have it, and he's just like, if you're honest with the cop, it's like, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you right now because you should be able to smell. You should have opened up your window, and you could have smelled me. And my window's up. Why?
Mercy.
Why would you let me drive? That's another thing. I was like, at one point in time, the cop let me go. I was like, I'm fucking wasted. How did
Oh.
he not? He put me in the fucking jail.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lazy cop.
It's almost time for him to go home.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of really good cop buddies, and every now and then I get to hear some fun stuff. Somebody you don't share, but some of my closest friends work in that department. And I'm proud to say, my boys in blue, I love you.
Tansy has the greatest story. And that's not even the best one. I can't wait till this book comes out. It's called Pig Latin. I'll do this on almost. I've done this on every episode. I've mentioned this book. One, because it was one of those gracious things that he came on the show, because it's one of those things is he's kind of bigger than me. But he still came on the show to promote his book, and he was telling I'm about to set it up.
Pig Latin.
Pig Latin, a seriously funny cop story. But
Good.
I'm gonna
Pig Latin.
copy the link. There we go. I'm gonna send it to you right now to your email. Let me see here. This is the reason why I hate using my phone at times. There we go.
I'm checking. All good. I will definitely have to check it out.
I just sent it to you on the email. But that's about it.
Hilarious title, Pig Latin.
Oh yeah. Now I can message you on Facebook. That's right. That's how we got it. But no, I was like the strangest thing I ever found out. If you want to learn some weird stuff, one, dolphins are rapey.
Wait, what?
Yes, very, very rapey. They have been. That's what I learned this because a friend of mine was telling me that they're gonna go swim with the dolphins. I was like, be careful, they'll rape you. I was like, one, how do you know this? And two, why do you know this? I was like, I was going down a rabbit hole one time, like I learning something, trying to figure something out, and it's just one of those things that came up. And I also found out that when a dolphin ejaculates, it shoots out 14 feet.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's a 14-foot rope, and then you're like, why do you know this? Well, I was just curious one day. Let's just keep it at that.
That is definitely a rabbit hole.
Well, and what's even worse is I get sciencey too.
Mm-hmm.
So my mind was going, I wonder what the PSI on that is. Could that take a person's leg off?
See, that's how you know you're a soldier right there.
Yeah. I mean, how many times what do you think about when you're about to do a jump? Is this something totally ridiculous? Like when you're doing a jump, I was like, so I'll let you talk after I do this one. we were coming back home from a deployment, and one of the ladies I was on the plane with, she was scared of, because it was just a 2-prop plane, nothing. It was just a jumper,
Got you.
and she's like, tell me something that'll make me feel secure. Well, I just watched Blue Collared Comedy Tour. Ron White has this bit.
Yes.
Ron White has this bit that he says is like, because he had the same situation happen to him, and I did the same thing he did. His deal, his joke on this was, well, to make you feel comfortable, we'll probably beat the EMS, the first responders, by about 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
If we crash.
Yeah.
I did the same joke to this. She was like squeezing her pillow, hunkered down, and she was so scared. It's like, then she's like, tell me something to make me feel better. And I told her that. It made her feel better, but the look she gave me didn't make me feel better. Transfer, because I felt scared after that. I was like, oh dear God. But what do y'all talk about when y'all right before y'all gonna do the jump?
Well, you know, I mean, honestly, a lot of it depends on the persona of the person that you're gonna jump with. Some of them that come in there, they're really stoic and really scared and nervous, and you just don't talk about much of anything. You be quiet. Others, they're lots of fun to play with and hang out with, and just make lots of jokes, lots of noise, lots of laughter in the plane. We make a joke like tandem instructors only know like 5 jokes. Hang on, my dog. So sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
We make a joke like tandem instructors only know 5 jokes, right? So we'll tell some of the things like, yes, I'm counting on you to get this one right, because they told me if I get this right, I can jump by myself now. You know, silly things like that. But we try really hard to make it comfortable for everyone going to altitude. Comfortable, fun, have a good time. But sometimes, man, just those stoic, I'm focused. All right, we'll be quiet.
If I ever do a tandem with you, my first thing is gonna be like, I'm.
Do what?
It's one of those things. Is if I ever do a tandem with you, I'm gonna be. I was like, are you ready? Fuck yeah, I'm ready. The LSD's finally. Let's do this.
Good, get in there. Get in there.
We're gonna be tripping 2 ways on this one.
I love it. It's honestly, it's a lot more fun when they're energetic and fun and upbeat. But you also want to be respectful.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing something like that, you really, because I'm sorry, I would like fold my hands over so I didn't accidentally grab. So I'm gonna be like,
You know what's really funny though? A lot of people, as they climb altitude, you know, they tend to release those bodily functions, and we have to crack the door sometimes. And we look around, and they don't take responsibility for it. It's like, come on, buddy, somebody take responsibility for this.
have you ever
Otherwise, we're gonna give you responsibility.
have you ever had like someone accidentally defecate on you?
As a matter of fact, I have.
Really?
Well, I mean, think about this. So sometimes we do things for people who, you know, they don't have a lot of control over their bodies.
Okay, yeah. That I can
be-
understand.
Yeah.
Man,
they lose. Yeah.
because I
And
had
it happens. It's okay. We do our best to make sure they know we're not embarrassed by it. It's just a normal, natural thing. So it happens sometimes.
I just thought of this question only because I'm curious. Have you ever had like a blind person jump with you, or
Me personally, I have not. I do have buddies who have had blind people.
what was it? What? Yeah, I'm already curious. I'm curious and just thought of the question. But how did that jump go? I mean, did they?
You know, I think for them, it was probably more along the lines of all of that information overflow. I've got boys in the background right now. Hey, gentlemen, come here real quick. Come here. Come say hello since you want to be heard. Come say hello.
You didn't. That was not meant to happen.
It's okay. Say hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Go get your dinner, boys. Oh man.
Horse tranquilizers fixes that problem, right?
Melatonin.
Having a dart gun, it's more sport.
No, but one of the more, I won't say famous ones, but one of the biggest ones that we've done. Todd Love, Mike did his jump, and he's missing both of his legs, and he's I think part of his arm as well. But they did a tandem. They designed a special rig to hold him, and now he has his own system set up that he can fly and use special gear for his special parachute jumps, and he's a great jumper, great person, great jumper.
That doesn't amaze me. I had we do a total ultra challenge. There's a guy that went down to the they have it set up for Operation Enduring Warrior. They send them all around to try to promote the charity and everything. This guy shoots a bow with one arm. He was in the army. He was in the army, and he lost his arm through a drunk driving accident. Not his fault. He wasn't a drunk driver. It was the drunk driver that hit him, and he lost his arm. So like a couple tours of combat, he loses his arm, or the drunk driver. But he shoots a bow with his teeth. Basically, he has like a leather strap right there. He pulls it, shoots it, aims. Dude's a world champion almost.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I love stuff like that.
I have to talk. Well, I've seen a guy even more amazing than that. I've seen a guy. There's I think he went on America's Got Talent or something like that. And he was shooting a bow with his. He didn't have any arms, but he was shooting a bow with his feet.
Fantastic.
If there's a will, there's a way. I mean, I guess.
1 second. Can we edit this part? I gotta get these boys under control.
Oh, hold on. I got this. Last time I did one with Eric. No, it wasn't Eric. It was BC. We had to stop it. We had to pause it to go use the restroom. So I like to. I have the same mentality. Even after with I had a talk with another podcaster, and he really big, Dan Cummings. He does Time Suck, and he does comedic dark humor with dark stuff. Humor. It's dark humor. I mean, last one he did was like World War II. Or he'll do like serial killers, and he'll do a little comedy relief on there. Like he did Bear. I didn't know how evil Bear was. Bear Aspirin.
I had no idea.
They're evil, man. They're part of the Nazi party.
What?
Most of the stuff. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Most of the experiments that and they did Bear's company did experiments during that time frame, medical experiments, and they went down a little bit during like World War I and World War II because it's a German company apparently. And I didn't even know that. It's like the whole thing with the Washington Redskins. I thought Washington Redskins were in freaking Washington, not Washington, D.C.
Commanders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I didn't know how I mean, most medical companies that do pharmaceuticals and everything, you think, oh, okay, they do a little bit of shady stuff. No, they do a lot of shady stuff. I ended up doing a little bit of research on some of them, and it's just,
I'm surprised. I'm wondering why they can get away with it. Honestly,
No, I've never heard any of that. Fascinating.
yeah. I'm like I have this one woman. I was talking to her boyfriend. I've known her for a while, and I just met her boyfriend, and we ended up talking, and she's like, you surprise me sometimes. I mean, you're a wealth of ridiculous. Who cares? But you have my boyfriend's ear, and I can do that, but it takes touchy too. I'm like, man, I can do the touchy. I mean, you're just looking at me in the eye, and it's very evil when you do it. That's the only reason why I don't do the touchy at the same time.
No touchy for you.
Yeah, but we're about a 2-hour mark. Go ahead and cut it there. Where can people check you out and get a hold of you with your to do? I mean, you do a lot of charity jumps and everything, but get a hold of you, see if they can do a jump with you guys.
Yeah, so head over to our Facebook page, All Veteran Group. We got Facebook, Instagram, same name. We've even got a TikTok. Find us on Twitter. Keep up with us there. We'd love to connect with you. We love connecting with everybody. Our next upcoming jump, I believe we've got the Panthers, because we're the professional parachute team. The official parachute team for the Carolina Panthers. The Winter World Parachute Team, we jump for American Airlines. With the University of Missouri, Mizzou. Those jumps are all coming up. In fact, next week on the 25th, University of Missouri, I think, is one of our biggest ones coming up.
Man, you guys are really out there. And I'll put the links on the description. But thank you very much for coming on the show, and check these guys out.
Man, it's been a blast. You have a great one. Thank you so much for having us today. Look forward to hearing from you again.
No problem.